Wow. Good morning, gentlemen.
Amazing. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Hayco hasn't said anything yet, I guess.
Yeah, but I'm in the same room, Morten. So can you hear me too?
I hear you too, and it's so nice to see you guys again. I've not seen you before, I think, Sander, but Hayco, you have way better quality than last time we tried to do something over the internet. So I'm looking very much forward to your presentation today. I think actually I'm a big fan of your technologies. I must admit that. I know that the press is supposed to be unbiased, but sometimes you also have to express your love for the products you love, right?
Yeah. Thank you for that. That's always good, Morten.
So how are you guys? You are in Holland?
Yeah, so based in the Netherlands, we are here in the Customer Experience Center of Canon Production Printing. And yeah, it's very nice here. It's good.
And how is the things with the corona in the Netherlands?
If you look at the current situation we have here, it's we call it intelligent lockdown. And what
intelligent lockdown. Okay, yeah.
That means is that slowly things are picking up, and only the things that we think are, let's say, we can control the virus by doing that. That is happening at this moment. So some of the, let's say, public life has changed. Schools will be different. Working will be different. We have a distance in the Netherlands of 1.5 meters to each other. That's also why you see me and Hayco in two cameras.
Yeah, because if we do it like this, Morten.
Oh, you are actually separated. Oh, okay, you're in the same room, but okay.
1.5 meters.
1.5 meters.
You know what I can't help find a little bit funny is because I think it was last week the restaurants opened in Denmark, and then the security distance was limited from 2 meters from nose to nose to 1 meter per nose. But apparently the noses in the Netherlands are bigger, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. We also catch larger fishes, so yeah, that's how it works.
Well,
okay,
great to see you. We have like well, people logging in. We have a little time to talk about, chit-chatting before you are going to present your inkjet presentation. And have you seen any of the sessions we've done the other days?
Yeah.
Did you find anything particularly interesting? I mean, I can tell you just from a statistics perspective, I will provide you numbers during next week, but Monday was apparently the best day, and that was almost 500 people were attending our webinars, which is like the first time we ever do this, so we were pretty proud of this, of course. And then
you should get an award for that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Okay, we get the 500 award, but then the other days have not been as good because they fall a little bit. Yesterday was pretty good too. We got like almost 200 yesterday. And I think that yesterday was the day where the technical side of things worked the best because people, started to understand how to use the platforms like that. And I also think the content yesterday was really interesting to listen to. I think all the presentations been great. I was, of course, that when I looked at Tuesday, where we talked about legislation in Europe and environmental programs, so maybe that was not the most important thing for people, but I think it was still good to hear because it's part of our daily life. So it's been really fun to do this, and we have got appetite for doing more of these kind of events too. So that is really good. And I think that the last time we spoke, Hayco, that was about, of course, your launch of the new IX series. Have you been able to roll anything out in that time? I mean, because when we spoke, you said there was a great interest for the new things, but everything is mostly under lockdown. So I was just wondering, have you progressed in any ways with your presentations and getting people to an interest in the machine?
Yeah, definitely, and we have really chosen there for a very specific approach here that we said 1st of April. The world is in a lockdown situation, but innovation should not go in a lockdown. So we really decided to announce the new product on the 1st of April. but we did it in such a way that we were not shouting it out with a lot of colorful communication, because of course we wanted to take care of the situation that the world was in.
Of course.
So that was the first step. Second step was that we, in the one-to-one sessions with customers, we just continued with the use of Zoom and Skype and Teams. We think we do well 4, 5, 6 sessions per day here with European customers.
That's quite a lot.
So that continues, and that also proves that the customers have the need to continue with looking at innovation and trying to prepare also for the new situation. So that is what we did in the last 5, 6 weeks. As you know, we are right now installing the first machine worldwide here at a commercial printing company in the Netherlands. That also gives a lot of energy, and we also make use of that, of course, to make some use of exposure regarding this installation.
Is it up and running now, or is it still under installation?
Well, actually, beginning of this week, they were eating fly, we say in the Netherlands. So that's cake, because the complete hardware installation had been finished. But as you can imagine, hardware is one, and then workflow and software and color management and fine-tuning is the second step. That's actually the step that we are in right now. So we expect the press. The press was already printing yesterday. But I think it will be up and running in 2 weeks from now, that the customer can also start the first commercial productions.
I was just about to say that the one thing is the installation of the machine, and then it takes a lifetime to make all the workflow and everything perfect, right?
Yeah. I don't hope it's a lifetime, but at least it will take 2 weeks.
I didn't say it before it started to print, but every time I hear about Toon was given from In Focus was given an excellent presentation of how to see workflow more in generic boxes, right? And I just think that every time we find something, you get new ideas for new things, right? So that is why I was thinking that maybe workflow never stops, right? Well, gentlemen, it's about time. I would like you to take over and do the presentation. Do you know the software now, or did you try it out before we? Okay, so you are good to go. Let's see
if it works out.
And then after we have seen your presentation, then we have a time for some questions and comments, and I hope it will be fun. So I look forward to see your presentation. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
good. Let's start.
So I'm now sharing my screen.
It looks perfect. So thank you very much.
Perfect. Very good. So Hayco, you take away, please.
Yeah, before we start with the content of the presentation, Morten, we would like to show you one slide, and that's the slide where we actually want to say not only thank you to you, but we also want to give you an innovation award for the whole initiative that you have been exploring in the last days and weeks. It's not only for you; it's also for your team, Hendrik and Andrea.
Can you see my arm? I get goosebumps now. It's such a surprise and such an honor. So I didn't want to interfere in your presentation, but when I see my not so pretty face on the screen and this nice award, I really thank you guys.
Yeah. No, and I think that's as I said, also for your team and everybody who worked on it, creating a learning and discussion platform for the printing industry. I know what you've been doing in such a short time frame to make this happen, from a content point of view, but also from a technology point of view. And I think I didn't check it with all the partners that are here on the slide, but I'm pretty sure that everybody agrees with this award. And I think well deserved for you, Morten, and the whole team behind. Congratulations with that. And now let's start with the content of the INKJET presentation.
Thank you very much.
So maybe Hayco, a quick introduction from your side, who you are, what you do.
Yeah, Hayco Van Gaal, European Director for the sheet fed presses business within Canon Europe, and with the whole team responsible for, and together with all the countries in Europe and the colleagues in the countries, to make the sheet fed inkjet business from a Canon perspective a commercial success.
Very good. My name is Sander Hendrix. I'm Business Development Manager within the European, Middle East and Africa organization. That means helping prospects and customers to develop their printing business. I have a background in inkjet technology since 23 years now in different roles. It started out with a small proofing device called the DRUPA digital cromolyn. So I was mixing inks for that in research and development, and via several roles always have been active in the graphic arts industry. So it's great also that inkjet technology is still around. And also if you look at our presentation of today, you can see a lot of steps and a lot of changes have been made. So if you look at the presentation for today, the outline, we talked a little bit about the introductions and the award that we handed out. I want to show you some of the printing technologies just highlighted and how they have evolved in time. Something about the inkjet triangle. When we are developing a product that has inkjet technology, what kind of elements and contributes do we need to take into account? A small journey of the developments of the company I know best, in this case Canon. So to show you how that works out, and a summary wrap up. So let's see how we progress. I cannot see any questions or interaction, so I will just do the presentation, and if there are then questions and answers, let's do them afterwards. I think that's easiest. When somebody, for example, in the chat would ask some things. Okay, if you look at the timeline from DRUPA 2008 till now, DRUPA 2008, 12 years ago, DRUPA was called the INKJET DRUPA. That's also why I've taken this, this time to talk to you about. We have seen that in the last decades, print production has gone through a huge transformation. A lot of changes were happening. Think about shorter print runs, think about faster delivery times. These are typical trends in the markets that we see at this moment in time. And we see that each new print technology is key in enabling these disruptions to make sure that these transformations can take place. And if you look at 3 print technologies that we have in, let's say, established print technologies we have in our industry, and you look at their development between DRUPA 2008 and now, you can see on the right-hand side, I have posted an innovation S-curve where you can see, okay, in which phase is the development of this product? How does this product work? Is it already at its limits or not? You can see if you're at the beginning of the curve, you're pioneering. You are developing the first printers. You see what's going on, but not everything works like expected. Then you are overcoming all kinds of technical obstacles. It becomes a real production press, a printing product. Then you are sustaining mastery over technology. And the idea behind that is that your product becomes more and more adult for more different markets, for example. But you also can see at a certain moment in time, technology is approaching its physical limits. You have it, it's done. Every change you make are small steps. Those are not unimportant steps, they are very important steps for the industry, but the steps are smaller. And that also is when you have huge transformations in the market, then new developments will be easier to adapt to these changes. If you look, for example, at offset technology, from 2008 till now, 12 years, you can now see that the whole process up to the printing plate is fully digital. We see that all presses are able to do automated press setups. If you would buy now a new offset press, at this moment in time, you would have an automated press setup. This saves a lot of time and also a lot of hassle and reduces mistakes. Job setup times, typically 30 minutes to 3 minutes. Again, this does not say that everybody is doing their job change in 3 minutes, but the newest hardware is capable in doing this. Organizations that are investing into this type of equipment automatically are benefiting from this. Startup waste reduced from a few hundred to a handful sheets. Automated quality control while running. Ink adjustments, color measurements. Speed increases reach more than 18,000 sheets per hour. Think about the UV inks, a recent trend in the market, but also the development in very large sheet presses. We also see now that some changes are happening in the market there, but very large sheet presses actually is one of those elements where you want to print as much as possible onto one, being as efficient as possible in a way. And that is how Offset is trying to handle that. If you look at this innovation S-curve, I would say Offset technology from 2008 till now is in that upper element. The technology is approaching its physical limits. There are changes still happening. Again, as said, that is not bad. This is good because it is a mature technology and it is a proven technology and it's still in the market. And we can learn as an also manufacturer, learn a lot from this. So that is Offset technology. If you look at electrophotography or toner technology, you can see in the last years, also DRUPA 2008 till now, you see that more and more special colors and varnishing options are coming in. Think about bright pinks, fluorescent colors, gold, silver, varnish, spot varnish. These are elements that have now brought into this technology. The speed of the printers are increasing, but those are not huge steps. We call that the speed creep. That means we get some steps. Speed is increasing, but it's not going huge. Looks also a little bit up to, let's say, the mechanical limits there and the physical limits to go a lot faster there. Additional quality control has been added into the mix. The transformation to smaller devices is a very important one, where you have seen, let's say, in 2008, the production print market was dominated by very big, heavy metal. You can see in this market, there are also more and more production devices which are smaller, more capable in handling this. So that is a big transformation there as well. You also see the trend in printing larger sheet sizes. That could be for example, banners or book covers that are wrappers around books. Or for example, if you move to B2 paper sizes, that is also a few of the vendors are doing that. So in a way, those are typical trends. If you look at the innovation S-curve, at the, again, right top side, you can see, we are approaching its physical limits, I would say. That is still good products, have the position in the market, have a good fit for what they do and how they work. So in a way, a lot of things has happened. I would take them there on the curve. If you look at the next one, inkjet production printing, I think the journey has been longer and more transformation has happened. I will go into more detail with it, but you can see now that now we are matching industry standards. Think about EDA Alliance, FOGRA standard, but also, for example, the DECRA standard for automotive industry. Those are typical things which are now possible. You can see that the print quality has improved. The color gamut has increased, also larger than, for example, standard offset coated color gamuts. That is now possible with a number of devices. Increased number of media types possible per device. You also see an increased media range. And you see the expansion number of different applications. So you can see there that is a big change. Also, you can see a lot of new markets being entered. So if you look at that innovation curve, I think we have made very big steps in the last 12 years. Now, to highlight a little bit, how would that then look at different product types? we have created this timeline. This is the Canon INKJET evolution, and for the people on abbreviations, HSI means high-speed inkjet, and high-speed inkjet. So in the DRUPA 2008, we started out with the Jetstream series. At DRUPA, it's one of the first big production presses running 600 by 600 dots per inch heads with dye inks. We also had micro inks for security printing. And every year we were coming up with a new product or a new solution. And what I've done in this timeline, I've tried to plot this evolution with the different major changes, I would say, regarding the evolution. So, for example, in 2010 we introduced the ColorStream 3500 series. We added pigment ink to it. Pigment ink. I have a picture illustrating what will happen with that. Pigment ink means more colorant on top, more colorant in itself, so that means a better print quality, a more vibrant image. In 2013, we were adding additional inks also to the ColorStream. We have the Jetstream 550-500. We added premium pigment inks. The image stream in 2014 was a device for printing on offset-coated papers. So again, better print quality, offset-coated papers was another major step important in this evolution. And so it's the resolution, it's the ink, it's the ability to print on different papers. And in 2015, we had 3 platforms: the ColorStream platform, the ImageStream platform, and the VarioPrint I-Series platform. At that time, we came out with the i300. And a neat technology we added there was ColorGrip. And I will have later on a specific slide talking about what ColorGrip actually is doing. So in 2016, we added Chromaera inks into the ColorStream 6000 series, another evolution. And in 2018, we came out with the ProStream 1000 and the VarioPrint i200. The ability there to print with the ProStream on 1200 by 1200 dpi. We had also the ColorGrip that we used in the VarioPrint I-Series platform added to it. We added flotation drying into the mix to make sure to print on a wide variety of different media types, including offset coated. And now this year, 2020, we have the ProStream 1000, and also, that is also where you had a session with Hayco and Utah on the VarioPrint iX series, 1200 by 1200 dpi, ColorGrip, but there we added a new technology called post-fixation drying. So this is the timeline of Canon production printing. And of course, every other manufacturer will have a similar timeline, but since I know our Canon products best, I use this one to illustrate the different steps we have in our industry. Resolution, different types of ink, the ability to handle offset-coated papers, adding ingredients or innovations like ColorGrip into the mix, and that all together is making sure we are now at the place where we are now with this development. Now, if you look at the development that we are doing with an inkjet technology, we have 3 major dependencies. And they are working together, and it's a balance that needs to take place. If you change one, the other 2 will be influenced. So that's the ink, that's the print process, and the paper or the media. Now, for ink, typical elements are viscosity, the wetting of the ink, the layer thickness, the drying behavior, what type of colorants am I using inside. For the print process, it's about the speed, which type of printhead and how many nozzles does it have, and exactly how big are those nozzles, determining the drop size, how stable is the head, how stable can you get the head, do I need to replace it a lot, or can it stay here for a longer time. All technology choices vendors or manufacturers need to make. The pre-treatment, how to work with that. Do I need it? Where it is applied for? How do I apply it? The drying, a very important part. From a paper perspective, it's about which kind of coating does the paper have. There are a lot of different paper types. You can see also in paper the evolution, where we started out, for example, in inkjet technology with special inkjet treated papers. But now you see the move in handling that all these new systems are able to handle more commodity, commercial print, offset, uncoated and offset coated stocks. So in that way, that is the balance that we are trying to get. And as said, if we change one, it has impact on the other two. That's why it's very good that, at least from my perspective within Canon, we have full control over the ink, since we are manufacturing and developing them themselves, but also about the print process. And that together makes sure that, together with the relationship we have with paper vendors, we actually have the ability to make these steps in that innovation. Now, I will take out one element of this, and that is COLORGRIP. COLORGRIP is a conditioning liquid, and you also hear in the industry, and also maybe at home when you do painting, a word called primer. And basically that is that substance. Because what does it do? It makes sure that those pigments are pinned to the surface of the paper. It prevents pigments to be absorbed into uncoated papers. It also prevents pigments to start moving around and bleeding on coated materials. Imagine that you are, for example, every Saturday you're waxing your car. And when you have waxed your car, and the hood of your car is very smooth, and you have then two water droplets going down that hood of the car. They are coming closer to each other, and at a certain moment in time, they join into one big dot. Now, basically, that is a nice effect that then happens because the surface of that hood is so smooth that those droplets in itself have more energy to join. And the cool thing with that is that, of course, is a very nice, let's say, physical phenomena. But in printing, that is an undesired phenomena, because what happens with those two droplets, they're joining and they become one bigger droplet. So you get all kind of different print quality artifacts or defects. And so what we try to do is make sure that when those two droplets fall onto the hood of the car, they stay at their position and don't start moving around and joining into bigger blobs. So that is very important. That is what we don't want, because if they are joining, you can see the image quality defects in this picture. You see on the left-hand side of this traditional Volkswagen, you see a very grainy Volkswagen. You see at the bottom, you see cyan merging into yellow. So that is a phenomena we call feathering or intercolor bleed. So at that moment in time, they join together. And of course, if it would be the same ink, there is not an issue. But again, with two colors, you can get these artifacts. So very important. What you also see is that if you apply it image-based, you can also try to steer with the amount and the type where you put it. So those are very positive things we have developed. And again, that is learning we have gotten from all the steps we have done in our development, looking at the market and the requirements. And this is one example of that. So what are the benefits? It optimizes print quality for standard uncoated and also offset coated papers. It eliminates print artifacts like color bleed and uncoated materials, and it will give you a premium print quality on commodity paper stock. This is one of those highlights of the different technologies. There are more technologies inside, but then I would say let's then have a normal presentation or demonstration for a longer time. This is just one of the technologies that I wanted to highlight. So, wrap up and summary. So we talked about the trends in the printing market, tighter delivery times, expansion of applications, decrease of run lengths, bringing on the need or the requirement, new technologies to adapt and technologies to appear, and also to move into this market. INKJET technology, with its proven productivity and low TCO, together with the print quality and application fit, is now rivaling other print technologies, is actually a very good match. So from our perspective, here at Canon Production Printing, but this also applies to every other manufacturer in the market, is that inkjet technology is for us an important technology for the future, and also an important technology for the printing market. So that is the end of my short presentation we made together here with the team. Are there any questions?
Yeah, we don't have any questions from the chat, but I have some questions. So let's see you. Yeah, I think we just end so now we are back here, so we can see, especially Sander, you have been the busy one today, right? You have been. I think it was a.
You will now have a lot of questions for Hayco, I believe, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, because some of the recurring questions I always have when I look at technology, because this is, in my opinion, this is a really, really great presentation, because you also give, I think that the audience will understand that the technology developments and the challenges that you have is it moves forward and becomes better and better. And that reverts me to some of the things that we spoke about, Hayco, in the Skype session, is that the higher quality, the faster machines, and the ability to print on so many different stocks, that essentially gives you a much wider potential market to address, right?
Yeah, I think that's what Sander also mentioned in the wrap-up. If you look at the core strengths of inkjet as a technology, also at DRUPA 2008, that is about massive productivity and uptime, and on the other hand also the economics. So the total cost of ownership way of working in inkjet. That was already 12 years ago a fact. What has happened in the last years is that we had to keep these strengths, of course, but we needed these strengths to be applicable in a wider marketplace, not only in transactional printing, not only in book printing or manual printing, but in a wider market. And I think the picture that Sander showed also about the evolution or the development in our own portfolio, now with the ProStream and also with the new iX from our side, we are really targeting this commercial printing market. So that's a much wider market we can address. There's also a wider range of other technologies available in that market. Some of the technologies that Sander also showed in his presentation, and that's exactly what we are heading for right now. And that we strongly believe that there's even a kind of revolution coming up in that part of the market. Yeah.
I can't help thinking that when you look at the quality and you look at the technologies and you see things, we often refer to DRUPA as the timeline for the major developments, as you also did, Sanders. And I was just wondering, because I can't help thinking of that, both the last DRUPA and the DRUPA before, when Benny Lander was presenting the nanography technology. I remember when I saw the presentation last DRUPA, he said that who dares to invest in inkjet technology when nanography is just around the corner? And I think that might be a Damocles sword, because that has pushed the envelope on inkjet even further, right? Because I mean, if you look at what you are not just saying you will deliver, but you are actually delivering, is really, really high quality, fast machines that still have, like, if you look at the S-curve, you still believe that you have way more ahead of you as well, right? Yeah,
absolutely. So what you see now is that we are trying to master the different market segments, what Hayco just said. But imagine there are a lot of different other ones where we also are making our steps. Think about a product on our side in the label industry, in the packaging industry, called the label stream. So in packaging itself, there is a lot of things that needs to be discovered, developed. So we are not there yet, and that's the neat thing of doing that. Coming back also to your comment on nanography as an example. In the end, what is driving this nanography is inkjet technology. So it has a different printing process in the end. So it is inkjet in combination with indirect printing. But
Yes.
again, it's inkjet technology driving it. So I think the statement would be more is look at your requirements that you have as a printing company, look forward. What would I like to achieve in 2, 3, 4, or 5 years? And then find the technology that will fit in this transformation that you're going to make.
Yeah, totally agree with you. And the reason I was mentioning this was basically, and the reason why I said Damocles sword is basically that I think that every manufacturer in the market, of course, develops depending on where they see the market moves. So when you see like mass customization, when you see shorter print runs, you need faster turnaround times, and all the measures for how a printing company can be successful today. Obviously, every vendor will start developing in that so they can supply to the market, so you can make some money on it. And so that was more like a conclusion that you can't really say that that the technology that you present is the best in the market. You have to see what you can deliver according to the customer's needs, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fully agree with that.
Yeah, and that leads me to a question, because I think that one of the things that I wouldn't say that I am concerned about, but some of the things that I am wondering on behalf of the of the printing companies without being their voice, but I'm trying anyway. I was just wondering if we look into let's say that you're a commercial printer and you're looking to make an investment in digital. What kind of how should you figure out what supplier to choose and what equipment fits your needs best? Do you have any suggestions on how to do that?
Yeah, so a very good question, because in the end, that is basically the discussion that you need to have, because you need to first find out where you are. Where are you with your company? What is your company doing at this moment in time? What are my customers doing, or what is my market doing? Where do we want to be in 5 years? So you have to start make a sort of self-assessment. Say, okay, this and this is going on. I see this is my main type of applications that I'm running. These are my main drivers in the market. These are my main customers. This is what I see what the market is doing. And based on that direction that you're saying, then you have to look into, okay, you have to quantify things. What kind of papers do I use? What kind of media types do I need? What kind of technologies can I use in helping me with that? Think also about automation. We had a few sessions also on the workflow. The workflow at a customer is way bigger than only that software piece, because the workflow is the way of working. That is what the word means, the flow of working. And that means from the beginning that the order comes in, or actually that somebody makes the order, till the end that the customer receives the package. That flow needs to be analyzed. So I would really advise everybody who is thinking about, hey, I need to do something, but I don't know what. Analyze your flow. Analyze where it is. How many touch points do I have? What do I would like to achieve? Do I need to automate? If I need to automate, I need to do totally different things. Then I need to replace a printing press. But one does not exclude the other. So take a broad view. I would say sit down in the garden with your feet up, or use a hammock and lay in there. Start thinking about where you want to be in 5 years, maybe in that hammock at an island, I don't know. That also can be a direction, of course. And that is the most important thing. Start first looking at yourself, ask the right smart questions, but also look at your own company, your own operation, and there you can automatically see a lot of these, let's say, improvement, savings, changes, you can apply.
Yeah, and in the end, Martin, maybe it is not that complex in the end, because indeed, as Sander already stated, it starts with a business case and a strategy. Where do I want to go? In the end, you have to go also into a technology discussion. Earlier this week, I heard you saying that the technology is maybe not the most important thing. I agree. However,
Okay.
if you look at the position that we are now in the innovation S-curve, technology definitely is a very important element in this discussion. And typically, in the starting of such a innovation S-curve, you see that many manufacturers, many players want to play a role in that curve, want to earn money in that curve. However, if you look at the amount of investments that you have to do in order to really stay ahead there with your technology, and I think in the end there's only a handful of players which can play a dominant role in that curve, and in the end that also means for customers that they don't have to talk with 10 parties. I think.
No, that is of course true. Yeah, sorry, but I was, the reason why I'm asking this is because, if you let's say that you have a family-owned offset printing company. You have been used to have commercial print for many years, and you can see that order quantities are declining, and you can see that the scale of economy needs to change to some extent. I think that a lot of printers, they chose to go into the toner-based devices because it was like, okay, relatively inexpensive base investment. You could replace a certain number of jobs easily because that was. I think that a lot of print vendors have wanted to have mass customization and personalization and things like that. I think it's a few printing companies that actually uses the digital presses for what it was intended to be. So I'm just thinking that when you have equipment like the IX series, which is, I take it has a higher capital cost than most toner devices, then it's also a bigger investment because it's not just subsidizing the smaller print run. It is also taking larger portion of what you would normally do on an offset press. And that is why I was thinking that the decisions and how you get to that point, I of course like your analytic way to ask people to go into that discussion and understanding. But to be honest, I think a lot of printers are not very good at it. And that's why sometimes they buy because that looks nice. Okay, it got dispersion varnish. I'll take that one as well. I'm kidding a little bit, but
I fully understand that, Morten. But that also is, and that is also the place for us as manufacturers or as vendors to help out and to advise and to say, okay, this is the best solution for you. And so one of the things which is key in this, let's say, in this phase we are in now, is that you get the correct advice, because it does not help if we are selling something and within a year the company does not work anymore, because then we also have issues. The difference, I think, with production printing equipment is also that it is very important for the manufacturers, very important from a recurring revenue perspective. So that means if we install a system at somebody, we will be very happy if the system is running like expected or even better.
Yes.
For that same reason. So for us as an organization, I think that is key, and we have learned that a long time ago. So you can also see there are a lot of people out there who are actually consultative selling, let's put it like that. They're trying to analyze things, and sometimes those are difficult discussions. Have you made money in the last years? How much are you making, etc., etc. But there are everybody, and also everybody in our industry is looking at it like this, because it's not about just buying a small phone or something. It is a very important part of your operation and your future that you're investing to.
One question from Ali Jason Basuban from Print24/United Printers, because he has a point that we have also been talking to when we spoke to Printvis Monday about calculation of prices. Because as he says, I just read his comment. It's a little bit long, but I'll read it anyway. And I know that we're just about to run out of time, but that's okay. Hey guys, nice presentation. thumbs up for that. We are an online printing company, and if we sell inkjet technology, we have no ability to talk to the customers before they place an order. Sometimes our vendors say that the file has too much color and it can't be covered with the price we agreed. But I cannot charge the customer afterwards. What do I tell the vendors? I can tell that the customers on the page, if you have a book with a lot of photos, don't buy, will be too expensive. I mean, I guess it's the ever-recurring question about how you pay for things. Most toner-based printers are click-based, and most inkjet devices are based on consumption. So the ink coverage is a very important parameter in the pricing, right?
Yeah, and I think we can spend a 3-hour session on that next week. No, I think it's a very important topic.
If I get another award next week too, then you have 3 hours. I promise you.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's a really good question that you just raised. Calculations is important, especially if we go into this commercial printing market, and as a side effect of that, also in the online printing world, things have to be standardized. Things have to be put in a total workflow with automation, and also pricing is an important part of that. Yes, ink is an important element in the total cost of ownership. Like it's a difference with offset, for example, where ink is a much smaller part of the total cost of ownership. And let me put it that way, this is one of the things that we've been discussing a lot about in the last 1-2 years, because from a technology point of view, we think we are now there to be successful in the commercial printing space, but we cannot be successful without having also an appropriate commercial model to do that. There we have really some nice ideas now, and that's the things that we are discussing also now with our customers.
And as you can see, we got company from, I wouldn't say a competitor because he's from the software side of HP, but, and I also know it's not Tim Webster, as mentioned, because Tim had to do something else. And now we have Chris on board. So Canon, you have the opportunity to say hi to HP. Isn't that just a fantastic opportunity? That is the added bonus that we offer here, right?
Yeah, great. Yeah.
So Chris, let's just wrap up with the Canon guys, and then I look forward to talk to you in a second. Hayco and Sander, I think it was an amazing, great presentation. I think we had a very good conversations afterwards. I appreciate your time and your support, and I hope to see you live. We have never met in person, so I hope we will meet in person at some time when this damn virus is over.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Martin.
Okay,
Thanks.
take care, and thank you very much, guys. Okay.
The next session. Bye-bye. Good luck.
Bye-bye. Bye.